Jingash came to pick us up, he showed us, he was typing diligently away into his phone, and he showed us a translation which said, "I thought you were all going to be dead by the time I picked you up."
So the expedition came about through a group of friends talking for years about doing something a bit bigger than we'd been doing just in New Zealand. I think we'd first talked about Kyrgyzstan probably 5-6 years ago. Got to the point where Joe and Maria were taking some time off work and they were available. Orla and I were also flexible with what we were doing with work, so we took it as an opportunity to pack in our jobs, and head out on an expedition together.
How you doing, Orla? What's the energy on this side of the table?
Pretty good. Good signs. Feeling pretty awake right about now. So we landed in Osh. We were pretty exhausted, pretty jet lagged, and we'd already left ourselves quite a short period of time. It was about 36 hours where we had to just get everything sorted out. We'd been put in touch with some local horsemen in Nura who were going to help us then get from Nura up the valley. So we wanted to try and use the horses to get all of our heavy stuff just as far up the valley as we could. So we got to Nura and we met Jingash, who was the horseman that we'd been put in contact with, and he was just a bit of a legend. He knew everybody in town, and him and his sons came and helped us out transporting stuff up the valley.
Just in the back of the trailer, covered in shit.
Trying not to open my mouth too much. Every time the wind blows, I just get a mouthful of cat. But of course, you.
But Jingash turned up and he just had a very basic saddle and about 10 meters of polyprop rope, and that was it. And so we'd sort of assumed that he maybe was gonna, there was some special containers he was gonna use, but all of our stuff, like the multiple bags, like including skis, ski boots, and just big Tupperwares, he managed to lash all of this stuff onto the side of these 4 horses, just with some incredible rope work. When we first got there and saw it, we just thought there's absolutely no way this is gonna work, and it was just, and it was just done. Everything attached to the horses, and we were off. So we'd identified this one, the most eastern of these valleys that goes right up towards the Chinese border. And right off the bat, there were a lot of questions about how well it was going to work, like how well was the access up this valley going to work, how well was getting from the valley onto the glacier across the moraine, like how was that going to work, and then what were we going to be able to do in any of these peaks. So it was all a little bit up in the air, but we'd had a bunch of different plans of things that we could potentially do depending on what the conditions were like when we got there.
Okay, this is Maria, day 1. Joe, day 1.
Joe, day 1.
Very.
Looking fresh and clean.
You're not.
That's it.
Day 1, Lars, what am I doing?
Still smiling.
Yeah.
Dinner number 1. Curry noodles. Because we didn't know it was curry.
Yeah, but with fresh veg.
Fresh veg. See how long that lasts.
Maria's
One is better than none.
Maria's already had a casualty and lost her shoes.
We've had many casualties today. We weren't kind of aiming for higher objectives, and we're kind of keeping it cautious because we know how remote it is out here, and there's no mountain rescue. So made a plan for all of that, and we chose the right season according to all the previous information we had. But we arrived in 37 degrees heat in Osh, so which is, to be fair, a good couple of thousand meters lower than where we were going to be. But immediately we were a bit like, this isn't ideal. We were the only people at the airport with ski bags.
She set up our base camp in this really beautiful meadow, scorchingly hot, 0 snow, which made for a very comfortable base camp. But our hopes of skiing all of these nice sub-peaks that we'd seen on the maps had 0 snow on them, so that plan was quickly relegated.
The skis have had a nice little holiday to Kyrgyzstan, but haven't had any use. But that's okay. I think with expeditions, you've just got to plan for the unexpected.
So our expectations going in was that we would be able to camp at pretty much the snow line. We'd be able to go ski touring on cruisy slopes low down, and we'd be able to use skis to access kind of the glacier and some of the bigger peaks at the back. We also expected that we'd kind of have a quick transition altitude, and we'd get up to speed quite quickly, and it would be a bit of an exploration. The reality when we got there was that snowline was a lot higher, which meant that Orla and I had to quite quickly reappraise what we could achieve. It was difficult, it was hard conversations to have. We've spent all this time training and preparing and getting out there, to then have to rein in your expectations hurts.
I'm just fucked. Like, I can't walk to the river 50 meters away without stopping to take a break. I'm struggling with eating. My poop is, you don't want to know. I'm congested, and I'm fucking emotional. I've cried every day, and it's been really hard, and I've given up a lot to be here. Quit my job, moved out of our house we were renting, put all my savings into it, and I'm having a miserable time. But I guess I'm still glad I'm here, because I think I'll reflect back on it and really be happy that I came. And because look, it's fucking beautiful. How many people get to even get this far?
Yeah, so as soon as we arrived, there was like a really decent weather window, and so even though we were all a little bit jet lagged and a bit tired from the journey in and stuff, we wanted to just kind of make the most of the weather, and so we eyed up an objective relatively close to our base camp and headed there.
The summit with our route in the background. We came from somewhere.
Yeah, we weren't sure whether it would go.
To here. And to there.
On our way down the rocky scree slope, though, I took a bit of a tumble and my new head torch took a bit of a whack, but better that than my face.
We were able to kind of shift our focus to the stuff further up the valley. So you could see the higher peaks in the 5,000 meter plus range, all had really good snow cover and all looked in pretty good condition. And we pretty quickly settled on this one peak, which is an unnamed peak kind of halfway along the divide.
Then when the next weather window hit, we decided we would stash some gear higher up the valley in an attempt to try and get up further up the glacier and then have a look around the back of the glacier to see the peaks kind of on the main divide, so to speak. So yeah, we stashed it, came back, waited for another weather window, and then when that came up, we went in, tried to retrieve our stash gear, but it had all gone.
Kind of reeling in disbelief, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out exactly what's happened, to be honest. But so because we'd gone up, what was it, 3 days ago,
Before the bad weather.
Yeah.
Remember we went up, stashed our gear.
Yep.
Thinking, great, next time we come in, we can just come in really light and fast. And we stashed it under loads of rocks, under a really distinctive rock that we thought would be quite protected from rockfall and the weather.
And like berries as well, like you couldn't even really see
the
it.
gear. So it was 2 big
Probably
bags.
50 kilos of rocks that like so well buried
A lot of rocks,
in a little
yeah.
cave thing as well.
Yeah.
What was in it?
Basically, we pushed up all our heavy gear, so it's like crampons, harnesses, ropes, rack, screws, Avi gear, and then all the food we thought we'd need for 4 days. So we kind of hauled it up there, stashed it, and it was basically going to be pretty much at the start of the route. And we get there today and it's just gone. No sign.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
Like 0 trace. Nothing.
Yeah.
Except for there was a ship.
Except for one clue.
Shit.
Yep.
Honestly, it was heartbreaking and like made even more emotional by the fact that we were so hungry. 'Cause it was quite a big hike to get up there. And we were super hungry. All this food we were planning on eating wasn't there. The prospect of doing the whole walk out the next day with no food. And then we were just sat there looking at like the line was perfect. And it's like, why? Like we failed on objectives a lot of times in the past for a lot of reasons, but this is a new one.
I can't believe that someone would do that to another mountaineer or climber. If you're a climber yourself, it just leaves you so vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a lifeline for someone else.
Yeah.
There's food, it's, you don't know, how committed that person is to being there that night. Yeah. It goes against everything that we've experienced so far in Kyrgyzstan. Like everyone's been so friendly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, backwards.
Overwhelmingly friendly. That was a really big hit on morale, I think. I know it's nothing in there was sentimental. At the end of the day, it's just money. But yeah, it was really sucky to have that happen. And it kind of felt like, oh, well, the trip's just over. Like, how can we climb without any of our climbing gear? But Orla and Laws, fortunately, we were in a team of 4. And so technically we did have double the amount of gear for a team of 2. And so we had backup as long as we shared all the gear. And so without them, we would have been going home. But because of them willing to share their gear, we were able to wait for another weather window and try and go in for the same objective, which was awesome.
Message from Maya. She's been messaging Damien, trying to see if he could have any information about what happened, and he says, so the only thing that's possible is that there are smugglers going through the valley. It's just like a smuggling route from Kyrgyzstan into China. It's quite a scary thought, though. That's like, glad we didn't catch up with them.
Yeah,
the other day.
chase them down.
Because the route through here, they've obviously walked within 2 meters of our base camp.
Yeah, for sure those.
And is it safe even to be in this area, if that's the case?
At least if we go up on Saturday, even if we just come back down, at least we've gone up and tried. So we went up there in the rain, so we could have a rest day up there before trying again. The pack horse. All right, we'll see you guys probably tomorrow then.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Cool.
Have fun. Oh no!
And it was a little bit hard to motivate going up again, having gone all the way up there, carrying all this heavy stuff. It's quite a long way, and it's quite a difficult hike up to the advanced base camp. It's a solid sort of 6-7 hours on pretty difficult terrain. So we were hauling all the gear up there again, in the rain, all of it wet, all of it cold. Motivation like waning a little bit. Then we got up there, weather cleared, beautiful rest day. Again, the line looked like it was still in good condition, and we were like, okay, this is kind of coming around. Like, this is going to work out. I think after all of these kind of ups and downs and things looking like it's not going to happen, maybe it is going to happen after all.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Yeah, definitely pretty nervous. I don't know, maybe there's more pressure on it now because we didn't really have a go, but we wanted to have a go and then it didn't work out, and now this feels like the last chance.
Yeah, it's definitely always some night before nerves. I'm going to try and wake up early, get up about 12, hopefully be back by around 12 or 1 or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
maybe a
that's
bit later. Yes. There's a few little choke points on it that have got a little bit of a question mark over them, just looking up at them. Like in an ideal world, we'll just simul climb the whole thing and it will be quick, but there's a few bits just from looking at it we might have to pitch. But no, you know, I'm feeling much better than about a week ago when we didn't have any stuff and crampons had been stolen. And
yeah, the last time we were here, it was colder. We had everything nicked from us. And we had no food.
No food, no gear.
We were pretty sad.
Tired, hungry, upset. Yeah. Hopefully it works out, and if it doesn't, we've tried as hard as we can. So it's just after midnight, just got up. Little tired. But I was pretty excited. It's quite cold, which is good. And there's zero wind. It's also conditions good. Zero moon, which would have been one nice thing for being able to see a bit, but hopefully it'll come out in a little bit. One there, basically.
Yeah, have fun. Be
In
careful.
3 hours, it could be in 15.
See you at some point.
See you later, guys.
Hope you get some sleep.
Thanks. Hope you enjoy it, guys.
Yeah, we will.
Everything you hope for.
All our dreams.
Just grab one. Like that. At the base of the route, let's get my gear on. The moon has just come up, which is pretty sweet. And this is the start of the route up here. It's a long ridge line with basically like 3 little summits connected by a couple of faces, but it's mainly along a nice ridge. For the first half of it, it was just the tiniest bit of snow and ice, so like maybe 2 centimeters, and then you were straight through into this really hard glacier ice. So, man, it was really safe and really secure and really stable, but it was definitely a lot more tiring than we were expecting to be like just front pointing up glacier ice. And so we got up to this nice plateau just as the sun was rising. 800 meters of vert at that point, of which about 600 meters was like WI2 ice climbing. So we were a little bit slower than we expected and a little bit more tired than we were expecting at this point, but we were feeling pretty good. Just at 4,900 through all that steep ice. Looks like it's a bit easier up here, thankfully, because that was quite a lot harder than we were expecting. But then the route changes, and so you've done the ridge and the steep sections and the crux, and from there there's 2 snowfields that take you up to the summit. And as soon as we kind of got up onto this plateau and started walking across it, there was a really obvious change in the snow underfoot. It doesn't seem good. And I had a really good dig in there, and it just revealed the most like horrendous snowpack.
So we've just had a dig, and we found what we were finding earlier was just 10 centimeters of that new snow on really solid bomber glacier ice, which was really confidence inspiring. But we've got up to this plateau, and there's maybe 20 of the new snow, and then the ice underneath is just completely rotten for about 30 centimeters. And then under that, there's probably a 20 or 30 centimeter of forefinger to fist facets, which is pretty scary. You can sort of shove your fist deep into it. And at the moment, there's this nice good freeze on the top, but it's a couple more hours up to the top, a couple more hours down, the sun's going to be blasting this. There's no real way of protecting this bit here. This 30-degree convex roll down there, and we are fucked if anything goes here. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, as much as it pains me, I think we should turn around.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. We tried, we failed, and now the first of many repels. Goodbye.
Woo! You're home safe! How tired are you?
Quite. Not as tired as we should be.
No.
Not as tired as we would be
If we'd
got
gone
to
to the
the
top.
top.
Oh no.
Top player was holding fine for...
Oh, I don't know if you saw it. It failed in isolation, the top layer of that block I made. Yeah, it just came straight off. So it was all right then,
That's
but
pretty
coming back down at
inexcusable
6 hours later, if that had gone there, it was this perfect 30-degree, big, wide open slope that ended in that giant cliff of death. And we just thought we didn't really think that was a very good idea.
It's really nice to be alive.
All we wanted was to say that we've tried as hard as we could. I think we can now say that we have tried as hard as we could.
I think Joe and I are both quite objective driven, not just in mountaineering, but just generally in life. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing as long as you don't make it this all-consuming thing that takes over the entire expedition and you kind of get blindsided as to why you're out there doing it in the first place. Summiting is always like an awesome feeling, but that feeling, it's not gonna last a lifetime. And so I think kind of chasing that feeling isn't what mountaineering should be about.
So I think one of the big takeaways for me is that, ironically, although this was the kind of the pinnacle of my mountaineering career so far, we didn't actually do a lot of technical mountaineering, but all of that led to kind of then a series of decisions that we decided to back out of going into anything more technical, more complicated. And I think that's made me a better mountaineer.
Why were we, or are we, being so hard on ourselves about not achieving anything? We're not sponsored athletes, we're not professionals, we're just a group of friends that wanted to try something like this and wanted to have fun together in the mountains. Nobody cares if we summited or didn't summit. It's supposed to be fun. And that's a big thing to take away from this.
because I have a tendency to get a little bit down when you don't get to the objective that you're working towards. And in some ways, and for sure the way that I was initially thinking of this trip was it was a failure, because the objective was this particular big unclimbed route. And so we didn't get to the top, so it was a failure, and that was kind of the point of the trip. But I think I've changed my thinking about that a little bit now, and really what we were trying to achieve with this trip was all of those other things. The exploration, the adventure, the being in this incredible new country, experiencing a new culture, meeting all these amazing new people, and pushing yourself with your best friends and coming home safely from it. Much more to be gained from a big remote mountaineering expedition than just simply standing on the top of the thing that you wanted to climb.
Maria's homemade shoes. We're living the high life.
Not as good as these.
Oh, yes.